coach. Nick Nurse over the weekend said, "It's great that Scotty Barnes is shooting a lot, but we need more. We want him taking more shots. We want him to be more aggressive." And if you have that confidence from your coach and the teammates around you are giving you, the thumbs up, hello and welcome to the Tuesday, November 2nd edition of the TV on Basketball Podcast with your host, TV. Hope you're having a fantastic day and thank you for clicking on to watch or listen to today's episode. Before we start, I do have to plug my other platforms. Remember to follow at TV on Basketball on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for updates on the podcast and for other great content. If you're on YouTube, remember to like, share, and subscribe and hit the notification bells. That would be highly, highly appreciated. For all the podcast listeners, remember to subscribe and leave a review if you're on Apple. And for my Spotify, Anchor, and Podbean listeners, just to continue to show your support in any way possible, I really do appreciate it. I have an awesome show lined up for you guys today. I'm going to be talking about mostly the top teams still in the NBA, not, like the usual, the Lakers, the Bucks and that, but the teams are all 5-1 right now. There's actually quite a bit of them. In total, there are 6, so we're going to go into that in a new segment I like to call Trend or Dead End. We're also going to be doing that with a couple players here. That one's more of a speed round. I'm not going to go too much into depth about those, but I'm definitely going to try and do it with those players as well. And then, of course, we're going to end off the episode with the 3-word series that I started last week where we go through each NBA team and try to describe them in 3 words or less. I went about 10-11 minutes last time. I like to keep it maybe a bit shorter than that. I'll try to do it this episode. But yeah, besides that, thank you guys for showing all your support. It's going to be another great episode. Again, doing these weekly. Every Tuesday, and hopefully once I'm done with my schoolwork and all that, we can go back to 2 episodes a week. That would be fantastic, and I'm just excited for just some more NBA basketball throughout the season. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump into it. And like I said, we're starting a new series here. We're starting a series called Trend or Dead End. This is where I'm going to be talking about whether each of these teams, is this going to be continued throughout the season? Is it a trend or is it a dead end? Is it something that we shouldn't really be buying into and they're probably going to plateau sooner rather than later? So yeah, we have 6 5-1 teams after a few weeks into the season. I'm recording this on a Monday and you're going to see this on a Tuesday, so maybe some of these teams may have gone a loss already by now. Whether it's the Knicks, Wizards, or Bulls, I think they're playing tonight, so they may have gone a loss here, but still, we're going to be trying to do a segment called Trend or Dead End. And yeah, basically you're going to go through these 6 teams and talk about whether I think it's going to continue or if it's going to plateau sooner rather than later. Then afterwards we're going to do a player speed round after this. But let's get into this. Let's start with the team which it's probably the least surprising out of all of them. We're going to start with the 2 of the most least surprising ones, and the first one we're talking about is the Utah Jazz. Right now they're 5-1 right now. They've looked great. They've had to deal with some injuries throughout the season, but right now 5-1. Is this a trend? Is it a dead end? This is probably easy. It's a trend. This is what you have to realize with the Utah Jazz. I know they fizzled out bad last season. The Rudy Gobert being exposed and all that. Donovan Mitchell had his injury and stuff. But at the end of the day, every single year that Donovan Mitchell's been playing, they've made the playoffs. They've always been a solid team, and they always know how to produce in the regular season. And they have the depth to back that up, and they just have the experience and the camaraderie that leads them to these very good records every single year. There was a reason why they were the number 1 seed in the West last year. They had great coaching, a great defense anchored by the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year in Rudy Gobert. And this season, it's more of the same. They still got Donovan Mitchell playing extremely well. They haven't even played Mike Conley much this year. He's only played 5 games, who's missed a game or so. And this team, honestly, compared to last season, they've gone a bit better. Rudy Gay is on this team now, even though he has yet to play a game this season. Hopefully he can come back soon. Hassan Whiteside's on the team. They trade for Eric Pascal. They have a good team. They have a very, very good team. And you know what you're going to get out of them. A good offense led by Donovan Mitchell with other guys just knowing how to share the ball and get their offense done. And they're going to be one of the top defenses in the league, which they are once again. They're number 3 in defensive rating. They have been playing absolutely fantastic this season. And you just got to expect more of the same from that. With a Quinn Snyder-led team, I already talked about it before the season started. Quinn Snyder's probably going to win Coach of the Year this year if the Jazz are a top seed in the West, if they continue to do what they've been doing all season long, or for the past few years. And I think we've gone to the point with the Jazz, like we did with the Bucks the last couple of years. We really do not care what they do in the regular season. If they can turn it around the playoffs, that's when we'll start caring about the Jazz. But right now, who really cares? We know this is what they can do, and they're going to continue to do it all season long. They're going to be a fun watch. You know they're going to get some good basketball with the Jazz, and they're going to keep getting wins. But nothing's going to change about my position on the Jazz, how I see the Jazz, until things are changed in the postseason. Not right now, but hopefully in the postseason, things can change and they can finally have a good run in them. The next team that I think not many people, that some people, I wouldn't say expected to be 5-1, but they aren't really too surprised, and that's the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are 5-1 right now, and man, this team has an identity, and they're gonna stick to it because right now they are the number one defensive team in the league. They've only allowed 100 points once this season. So is this a trend? Is it a dead end? It's 100% a trend. I don't know if they're going to reach maybe over 55, 60 wins or not, but in terms of them being especially a contender, I really do think the Miami Heat are going to be a true contender this year. Because this team is for real, man. Jimmy Butler is playing at I'm not even afraid to say this, playing at an MVP level right now, 25 points a game, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 52% from the field, basically 38% from 3, and almost 90% at the line. Those are all NBA near MVP numbers, and if you look at the way he's affecting the team and stuff like that, the Heat just look fantastic. Tyler Hero off the bench is averaging 22 and 7. Bam Adebayo 20 and 14. And some people are going to be looking at Kyle Lowry's stats and be like, oh, 8 points a game, 7 assists. He's been a bust of a signing. No. If you hear people talk about Kyle Lowry on the Miami Heat team, they know how important he is, especially on the defensive end, and just his leadership on the floor. Tyler Hero talked about it. This is the first point guard he's had in a while that knows the game, the ins and outs of the game, kind of like Kyle Lowry. And no disrespect to his former point guards, probably Goran Dragic and stuff like that, but Kyle Lowry, he's having a Kyle Lowry impact in the sense where the stats won't fully show it, but his impact on the defensive end, his setting up people on the offensive end, leading to many fast breaks and all that. Kyle Lowry has direct impact with that, and it's not going to show up on the stat sheet, but he just knows how to do all the little things. And the Miami Heat are just doing a lot of things right now. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to be a 55-60 win team, but when it comes to having a championship level roster, it looks like they'll get to that. Because let's be honest, Jimmy Butler, maybe his stats will plateau a bit. Bam's going to have another great season. But that means Kyle Lowry's going to get into his flow later on in the year. Tyler Hero, hopefully he can continue his 6th Man of the Year case. But this team, just up and down the roster, they still have PJ Tucker there. They still got Markieff Morris. This team just feels like they are built to win a championship. Now with the Nets, we don't know, is Kevin Durant and James Harden enough? I don't know. With the Bucks, so far they've had some injury concerns. I don't know if that's going to be lingering throughout the entire year. The Miami Heat are right in the mix, and like I've mentioned before, the only thing really stopping them is health. They're not a very deep team. If one of those first 7 guys get injured, it's actually going to be pretty troublesome for them. But as of right now, with the way they're looking, it's looking good so far. They are a contender. This is a trend that's happening. Them playing well is going to continue to happen all season long. They're going to be a very good team this year, and you should definitely look out for them. Next team I want to talk about is the Golden State Warriors, another 5-1 team, one of the 2 in the Western Conference. And is this going to be a trend? With them going, having another great season, being near the top of the conference? I'm going to say it's a trend. And the biggest reason why I think this is a trend is, firstly, Steph is playing phenomenal again this year. He's having another great season, averaging 28 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, almost 40% from 3, the typical Steph stuff. Not really great field goal percentage at 42, but Steph is doing Steph things. What makes this team good, and what the biggest difference between this team and last year's team is that they're getting contributions from different people. Draymond Green having a good season, 9, 7, and 9. You got Andrew Wiggins giving you some offensive production. Jordan Poole, Damian Lee. You got Bielitsa giving you something a bit off the bench. You got Iguodala, first year back on the Warriors. He's giving you something. And then they just still got them guys coming back from injury, whether it's James Wiseman, you got Jonathan Kuminga, you got Klay Thompson coming back in December. And if you look at this roster, Steph is going to keep doing his thing. If these guys are helping him out, the guys coming back are they're not going to be a detriment. They're going to help them whether it's on the defensive end or the offensive end. Klay is going to give them hopefully maybe over 16, 17 a night. And then Kuminga and Wiseman hopefully can help on the defensive end with their athleticism. This is a good team. They obviously have the championship mentality with, with some of the guys on the roster, Looney, Iggy, Dre, and Steph. But you can also see the growth in their supporting cast. And I think that's going to be extremely, extremely important. Especially especially in those off nights where Curry's going to be the main focus of the other team and they're going to try and shut him down by all means necessary. They're going to need someone to step up, and they've had multiple guys do that so far this year. With this roster right now, with some guys coming back, the Warriors are a team that should be near the mix in terms of the playoff race, especially maybe later down the line, maybe they could be in the title case as well. If you think about the top teams in the West, you got the Suns. People, we need to see how they really are as a team. Maybe a few weeks, maybe a month down the line. The Jazz playoff issues. The Lakers, we'll have to wait and see how they're gonna figure things out. But the West is pretty open, I think so, for first time in a while. And the Warriors again have the experience. They know what it takes to go deep into the playoffs. They could do it again. They could 100% do it again. And with the way the people outside of Steph Curry are playing, I think this team is definitely something to look out for. They're still going to be a fun team to watch. And I think it's going to be a real key to them for them going forward, that Steph is playing well, but also the other guys are getting involved as well. So, yeah, the Warriors continue to win. It's a trend, 100%. Next up, we have the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks, they are 5-1. They have the number one team in the East right now. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They look great. They're facing the Toronto Raptors tonight in kind of a throwback game, first game ever of the NBA's history. They're having some special theme game tonight, which is gonna be really fun to watch. But is their 5-1 record? Is this gonna be a trend, or is it gonna be a dead end? And I know it's starting to sound kind of repetitive right now, but this is a trend. I guess I'm getting all the trends out of the way, but the Knicks playing this well is going to be a trend. Because here's the thing about the New York Knicks. You already know they're going to have that defensive mentality led by Tom Thibodeau as their head coach, and the roster they have settled already, that they have already, because this is basically the roster they had last year. Mitchell Robinson's back and healthy. You got RJ Barrett, who's mightily improved as the defender. You still got Julius Randle, Taj Gibson, all those guys. It's basically the same lineup, and they don't even have Nerlens Noel back. But the biggest difference from this year's team compared to last year's team is they got some offense. They've got some offense. They brought in Evan Fournier. They brought in Kemba Walker. And those two guys, although the stats don't really show it, Kemba Walker, 15 points a game. Fournier is actually playing good, 17 points a game. It's just so useful for this team to have shot creators on the perimeter, especially in certain situations where maybe Randall's the focus on on the defensive end and stuff like that. Having those offensive creators is massive for this Knicks team. Because like I said, they're going to have the defense. But if you could pair it off with a good offense, this team's going to be dangerous. This team's going to be very, very dangerous. And Kemba may think it's going to take some things slow with him. Maybe he's going to have some off nights. He's not going to play basically a full 82. But if you can have him readily and available throughout the playoffs or throughout the season, you got Fournier, you got RJ Barrett, who over the weekend had a 35-point performance. He looked fantastic. And Julius Randle still playing at an All-NBA, All-Star level. This is going to be a good team. And with a team led by Thibodeau, obviously, like I said, the defense is going to come around. Right now, they're 19th in the league. That's obviously going to go up. But if they can get an average to above average offense, this team is a team that you do not want to face in the playoffs. Sure, there people have concerns about Thibodeau's teams, overworking their guys and stuff like that. But this is only year 2. That's a problem for year 3, year 4. These guys are basically a lot of young guys. Obviously, they know what they have in Kemba Walker. They gotta, take some time with him. But either way, they have the pieces now. If you can get some, consistent offense from the two guys that they signed, and still provide very good defense, the Knicks is going to be a very good team, and them winning is going to be a trend throughout the season. So, yeah, if it's a trend or a dead end, the Knicks winning is definitely a trend. Next up, we have the final two teams, and these are the ones that people probably didn't expect to be in this position right now. First team being the Chicago Bulls, and right now they're 5-1. Their offense looks great. Their defense actually looks pretty solid, but sadly over the weekend they lost Patrick Williams, their second-year guy, for the rest of the season because of a wrist injury. Praise out to him. Hopefully he can come back stronger next year. But right now, them at 5-1. Obviously, they made a lot of big signings. Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan. They made the moves to try and get better. But is them winning a trend or a dead end? And for the first time this episode, I'm going to be saying dead end. Now, I don't think they're a bad team. They're not going to be a bad team whatsoever. They have the offensive pieces, and although right now they're they're not near the top. I mean, they're maybe I think just outside the top 10. I think that Patrick Williams' loss is going to hurt a lot more than people think, because you're going to have a lineup with, Lonzo, good defender. They got Zach, DeMar, not notably known as defenders, and Nikola Vucevic. This is not a very defensive lineup, and now with no Patrick Williams now, they're gonna have to be starting people like Javonte Green, Troy Brown Jr. It's not gonna be a great defensive team when all is said and done. And you got the three guys. You're gonna have the offense with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan every night. One of them is gonna play well, and then Lonzo's gonna give you a couple games, and Vucevic is gonna give you a couple games. Their offense is gonna be fine, but their defense is the issue. And without Patrick Williams, they're not going to have that guy to, throw on someone's best guy or throw out a big man. They're not going to have it anymore, and I think that's going to be a huge loss for the Bulls long term. Even right now, I mean, they're in the midst of a very, very tough schedule right now. I think if you guys have been watching my TikToks and with Jalen and stuff like that, the Hoop Talk pod, he talked about how the next 9 games or so was going to be really tough for the Chicago Bulls because they're facing the Celtics, the 76ers, the Nets, the Mavs, the Warriors, the Clippers, the Lakers. It goes on and on. They're facing a bunch of good teams. Now, if they go through the stretch, over 500, a few games over 500, maybe I might turn around on it. But right now, they lost a very important piece to them very early on in the season. And I don't know. The offense is going to be good. I really do think so, but is anyone concerned about Vucevic right now? Because right now he's although he's been playing well late into games, so far he's 16-11, under 40% from the field, just at 32% from 3, not even just over 70% at the line. I don't know, just kind of worrying. And I think a big reason for this is that there's just not enough ball to go around. You got DeMar, Zach LaVine carrying a lot of the load. And it kind of moves Vucevic into a third option, and that kind of worries me that if you're not getting him involved in offense enough, he's going to kind of disengage on the defensive end. So yeah, I mean, it's great that they're getting wins right now. Big win against the Jazz over the weekend. But I think right now it's going to, I got to say dead end. I got to see a bit more from this team. Hopefully they can prove me wrong, but right now, I got to say dead end. Last but not least, out of the 5-1 teams, we have the Washington Wizards. Yes, I said, you heard me correctly. The Washington Wizards are one of the 6 5-1 teams left. And what's really impressed me about this Wizards team, and maybe this is something we should have expected coming to the season, is that they're a deep team. Because Bradley Beal hasn't been a world beater so far this season. 24-6. I mean, good numbers, but not the 32 points he was at, or the near 32 points he was averaging last year. But it's the other players stepping up. Kuzma averaging 15-12. Montrezl Harrell, almost a 20-10 type season. You're getting almost 20 points a game from Spencer Dinwiddie. It's the depth that they got. And I guess this should have been kind of expected. When they traded away Russell Westbrook, they brought in KCP, they brought in Kuzma, they brought in Harrell. They've brought in players to kind of just fill out the roster more. And so far, they are paying dividends in terms of just production. Because even when Beal was out for that one game, they still were able to pick up the W. This is a deep team, and I think more than anything, this is going to be a good regular season team. They got the depth, they got guys who could score on any given night, And they're just going to surprise a lot of teams because people are going to be looking at like, oh, the Wizards. Yeah, let's just focus on Bradley Beal. We can let the other guys do whatever. But the other guys are producing, and if they could do this all season long, maybe something can come from this. But in terms of them winning, if it's going to be a trend or dead end, put me down for dead end. Put me down for dead end. First year head coach Wes Unseld. He's probably loving life right now. They're 5-1, and they're playing pretty good. But you can only go so far as to outscoring your opponents every night. I mean, they've given up over 100 points 5 out of their first 6 games. And the one time, actually, they gave up like 100 points at least every single game this year. They've gone to a couple over the time games. I mean, I have a feeling that there's going to be like some point to see that we're going to go on a massive slump and kind of maybe float around 500 or so. But so far, they've looked great. They've definitely looked great. They've let their players be themselves. I mean, Montrezl Harrell's looking like 6th man of the year. Montrez, Kyle Kuzma is getting his shots up. Beal, he's maybe dealing with some nagging injuries, but he's still playing at a pretty high level. This is a good team, a good regular season team. Will this be able to last? I don't trust it. But at the end of the day, it's good to see different teams going up to good starts and not already like they're not like the Thunder, they're not like the Rockets where we're already like shutting them down for the rest of the season already. The Wizards are a good team, and like I said before the season, they're gonna probably fight for a playoff spot or a play-in spot. But are they a guaranteed play-in spot? I'm not gonna say that because they are probably in the same boat as like the Raptors. We'll see about the Pacers if they're able to get back into the mix with the Hornets and all that. They're probably in that mix. But at the end of the day, they're playing well right now. It's good to see. But if this is going to be do I think this is going to be a trend? No. It's going to be a dead end. 100%. I'm not going to say 100%. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, those are the teams. Let me know down below if you guys agree or disagree. But like I said, I'm going to do a little speed run with some players here. Do I think that their good performances early on is going to be a trend or dead end? Let's get into some of these players. We have quite a bit of players here to go through. I'm not going to take as long as I did with the teams, but let's get into it. First player, Scottie Barnes. Him playing at a very high level, probably leading at Rookie of the Year at so far this season, especially with the wins that the Raptors are getting. Do I think this is going to be a trend or a dead end? Put me down for trend. Scottie Barnes has been absolutely fantastic. He has the belief of his teammates already, and he has the belief of his coach. Nick Nurse over the weekend said, it's great that Scottie Barnes is shooting a lot, but we need more. We want him taking more shots. We want him to be more aggressive. And if you have that confidence from your coach and the teammates around you are giving you, the thumbs up, probably a bad analogy right now because he right now has a sprained thumb. Hopefully he doesn't miss tonight's game. But in terms of his performance, I mean, some people are going to be like, oh, when Siakam comes back, he's either going to be moved to the bench or all that. No. I think they're going to try and force him into starting lineup because he's that impactful. And he does so much for them. And I think they're going to continue on all season. Will he be in the Rookie of the Year conversation the entire year? We'll have to wait and see. But he looks ready. He looks athletic. You could see his skill set developing before our very eyes. He's getting very comfortable with that mid-range jumper, which I love to see. He's going to be a star, man. This guy's going to be an absolute star. I'm excited to see him play for the Raptors for the years to come. So, yeah, him playing this well is going to be a trend. Next player I want to talk about is, let's get the rookies out the way. Let's talk about Chris Duarte. Right now leading the rookies in scoring, I believe just under 18 points a game. He's looked good in the starting role for the Indiana Pacers. But is his play going to continue to be a trend, or is it going to be a dead end? If I had to make the decision, I'm going to say that's going to be a dead end. Mostly because, yes, he's playing well, 17 points a game, almost 40% from 3, over 90% at the line. But Caris LeVert is slowly coming back. I don't know if that means like Chris Duarte is going to be moving to the 3. I don't know how the defense is going to work because of that. But I just don't think, especially with the amount of like mouths they have to feed there in Indiana with Sabonis, like I said, LeVert. You got Malcolm Brogdon when he comes back from injury. I don't know if there's enough to go around, and if Chris Duarte is averaging 17 right now, maybe he'll finish the season maybe around 12 or 13. But in terms of his like current play, I think it's gonna be a dead end. I don't think by the end of the season he will be in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but he's looking good right now. One of the older rookies, so some people expected him to be NBA ready pretty quickly. He's looked good, but I think that his play right now, dead end. if I'm trying to project it. Next player I want to talk about is Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges right now has been playing absolutely fantastic for the 5-2 Charlotte Hornets. 3 30-point games to start the year, leading the team in scoring with 24 points a game, 7.5 rebounds. Miles Bridges has been playing great. Now, is he going to keep up this production for the rest of the season? I don't want to say dead end. I want to say maybe like he's going to improve. He's going to improve, but 24-7, is he going to be able to keep this up? I don't think so. I'm going to say dead end. Now, I do think he will be the most improved mix. I really do think so. Maybe it's like, lower down expectations. Maybe not 24.5, 7 rebounds. Maybe 20-6. 20-6. I really do think he's going to be a 20-point per game scorer. He's having an amazing start to the season so far. But I just don't think he'll keep it up. 24 points a game, that's a lot. That is a lot right now. And I think what's happening right now is just like he's taking a lot of people off guard. I think he's always been an underrated 3-point shooter his entire career, but he's shooting over 50% from the field, almost 90% from the free throw line. I think he's been off to a good start. I think his production is going to plateau a little bit. I still think he'll be a 20-point per game scorer, but I'm going to have to say dead end on him, producing basically, all NBA type numbers. I don't think he's going to finish the season like that, but I still think he's going to have a pretty good season. Next up, another rookie that I'm going to be talking about here, Evan Mobley. He's been playing absolutely fantastic this year, along with Scotty Barnes, along with Chris Duarte. He is in the mix as of right now for Rookie of the Year in the very, very early stages of the season. And so far, playing well. 13 points a game, 8 rebounds, 50% from the field, a steal, 1.5 blocks. This guy has had such a great impact on the defensive end. Do I think this is going to continue for the rest of the season? Yes, I do think it's going to be a trend. Evan Mobley, already is making it, the argument that he is one of the better players on that Cavaliers team. And so far, the 3-4 and that 3-7-footer lineup isn't looking horrible. I was surprised that Lauri Markkanen starting right away. I really did think Isaac Okoro was going to continue to have a starting role, but they're rolling with the 3-7-footers, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know how long this is going to last them playing with those 3-7-footers, but it's definitely an experiment, worth trying until things completely fall off the rails. But in terms of Evan Mobley, I think he's going to continue his stellar play this season. He's going to get the rebounds. He's going to be in the mix for Rookie of the Year. I just think that he has such a big impact on both sides of the court at such an early age. It's fantastic to see. And I really do think the Cavs got themselves a future star here in Evan Mobley. And after that Lakers game where he had 23 points, had a fantastic performance. He caught LeBron's eyes having a 23 points, 6 rebound, 3 assist performance. He said this guy's going to be a future star. I believe he's going to be a very good player going forward. So him playing well right now, I think, is going to be a trend. Next up, second to last player, we're going to be talking about James Harden. And kind of opposite to these guys, what I'm going to be talking about is Harden's, current, form. Is it going to be a trend or a dead end? Because last week I was talking about how he's kind of struggling so far. I thought that, he's going to turn it around soon, and he's slowly trying to turn it around, trying to get used to these foul calls and stuff like that. But is he going to continue to play at this level for the rest of the season? No, no way. Okay, this is more of a joke type of thing, but this is a dead end. It's obviously a dead end. He's not going to be playing this badly this entire season. This guy's on the NBA 75 list for a reason. This guy's was always in MVP conversations over the last, 5 years and stuff. He's just trying to adjust. Some players are going to adjust, a bit later than others, Harden being one of them, but he's gonna find his way soon. He's gonna find his MVP form, and this Nets team sooner rather than later, hopefully, is gonna reach their potential soon because KD is producing the way he is. They're just waiting for Harden, and once those two guys are clicking, this team is gonna be as scary as we think it is. They really are. So Harden's current play right now, it's a dead end. No one should really be thinking, oh, this is the NBA finally exposing Harden, this and that. No. He's an NBA 75 player for a reason. He's a phenomenal player. He's gonna find his way back. Trust me. And last but not least, you knew I had to slip it in here. Ja Morant, still having a fantastic start to the season. I believe he's leading the league in points. Yeah, 28 and a half points basically a game. He's playing absolutely phenomenal. Is this going to be a trend? Is it going to be a dead end? Yes, I'm going with trend. Ja Morant, still rocking that hashtag Ja for MIP wave. I know he kind of injured his elbow in his last game. Hopefully he's back soon. But so far this year, almost 29 points a game, almost 8 assists, 5 rebounds, 50% from the field, almost 40% from 3, over 84 at the line. This guy's going to be fantastic. I'm still on the Ja for MIP hype train. Let Ja be great. Let him be great. He's going to have a phenomenal year. 20, is he going to lead the league at the end of the year in scoring? I don't think so. But I truly do believe he's going to be a 25 point per game scorer. I really am on board with that. So him playing this well, him playing at basically a top 5 point guard level, I think that's going to continue throughout the season. That is going to be a trend. So yeah, let me know about the players, about the teams, trend or dead end. Let me know in the comment section down below. We're going to end off this episode with obviously the 3-word game with each team in the NBA. Last week, did I go a bit long? Yes, but this time I'm going to try to keep it a bit shorter. I did pretty well though. I think I tried to, in terms of going really short, I think I did pretty well, but let's try to keep it a bit quicker. We're going to go through each team in NBA and do a phrase and then come up with a phrase of 3 words or less to describe each team. And of course, we're going to be going by standings. And of course, we're going to start in the East. First up in the East, we're going to be talking about the New York Knicks. And the phrase I'm going to describe them is bing bong. Yes, I mean, that sounded cringy, didn't it? That was pretty cringy. But the Knicks have been playing great. Obviously, that video has been making the rounds on Twitter about all those Knicks fans going crazy. I absolutely love that video. One of my favorite moments of the year so far. They're a good team. I talked about them a lot earlier. I think it's going to be a trend how well they're playing. Hopefully, Kemba could stay healthy because this team could actually surprise a lot of people if they can pair up their defense with a pretty a average to above average offense. So the Knicks, they look good. Bulls, are they for real? We still have to wait and see. Earlier I said that they were in a dead end, but maybe they could prove me wrong. Like I said, the next bunch of games is going to be really hard for them. But if they can come out of it, looking solid, over 500 in no stretch, they're going to have my support. But I'm going to be definitely keeping a close eye on them, and you should too. Washington Wizards, regular season team. Again, another team that I said that was in a dead end. I just think that they have the depth of a good regular season team. They're going to be in the mix for a playing spot. They look like they're going to maybe challenge for top 8 seed in the East, but I don't see them more than that. They're a good regular season team. They're going to get good production from their guys. They have some good players. I don't see them more than that. Maybe they'll prove me wrong this season, but I'm just going to kind of dub them as a regular season team. Miami Heat, they're elite. They're an elite team. They got, Jimmy Butler playing absolutely phenomenal to start the season. Kyle Lowry's offense is going to come around, don't worry, but his impact is still there. Bam's playing great. Their roster up and down has been playing great. They're an elite team, and they should be 100% one of those much-watched teams this season. Charlotte Hornets, bright young future. I already talked about Miles Bridges and his hot start to the season, but LaMelo Ball had another great game yesterday as they defeat the Portland Trailblazers. He played absolutely fantastic Halloween night. And the Hornets are just a fun young team. Hopefully Terry Rozier comes back soon so they can get some even more scoring on that roster. The Hornets look great, and they have a bright young future. Philadelphia 76ers. Ben Simmons, who? Yeah, the 76ers are pulling out wins. In the last game, especially against the Atlanta Hawks, their backcourt has actually provided them with some offense. Tyrese Maxey scoring 16 points in this one. Seth Curry with 15. Embiid hasn't really come around just yet, but I think as if hopefully he can get healthier soon so he can continue to put up his beastly numbers. Tobias Harris has had a good start to the season, and so far so good for the 76ers. I still think they should make the trade sooner rather than later, but both sides are stubborn. I'm just glad I didn't get to really talk about Ben Simmons today. So, yeah, 76ers playing great. Let's see if they can carry it on. Toronto Raptors. Continue to doubt us. Please continue to doubt us. This is when the Raptors play at their best. Right now, they're 4-3 on a 3-game winning streak. Scotty's been playing great. Freddie VanVleet has been taking over fourth quarters. This team has just been fantastic, especially on the defensive end. This team has been great. They are 7th on defense, basically bang average on offense. They are a good team. I think the Raptors are going to shock a lot of people this year, probably be in the play-in tournament mix. Hopefully they can keep this up. And hopefully Scotty's injury is not too severe. Hopefully he'll be back soon. But if they need to rest him 1 or 2 games, I completely understand. Raptors, please, fans, continue to doubt us. That's because that's when the Raptors play at their best. The Milwaukee Bucks, full injury report. That's basically been the Bucks kind of situation the whole year. Giannis has been healthy, but Drew Holiday hasn't played since the first game. Brook Lopez hasn't played since the first game. Bobby Portis is finally coming back from injury. Even Chris Middleton missed yesterday's game because of an illness. They'll be fine. The Bucks will be fine. They just need to get guys back healthy from the IR. So once you get those guys back, you already know they're gonna put in wins. Giannis is playing great, and he's actually adding that outside shot to his game, which is kind of scary. But they'll be fine. They just need to get healthy. Don't even have to worry about the Bucks. Brooklyn Nets slowly coming back, and this is mostly a reference to James Harden. He's finally coming around. I know the other day he had a triple. I know his last game he had a triple double, and the game before that he had like a 30-point game, 19 free throws though. They'll be fine. James Harden's gonna find his groove. KD's been playing great. They just need to stay healthy, and they'll be fine. They're gonna get some wins. They should still be one of the favorites in the East. The Nets will be fine. They're just slowly coming back. The Atlanta Hawks. The offense is starting slow. Now, this is something I wasn't expecting in the before the season started. The Atlanta Hawks starting this slow on the offensive end, but they've had some pretty good games, but they've also had some complete duds, especially against the 76ers. They lost to the Pelicans, which is a rough game. They lost to the Cavs. They just put out some stinkers. Besides that, they've been okay. Hopefully, people like Kevin Huerter can find their groove soon. DeAndre Hunter can up his production a little bit. I think they'll be fine, but they just need to start, developing a rhythm for sure. Cleveland Cavaliers, try scoring inside. That's the thing about this Cleveland Cavaliers team. I mean, I mentioned it earlier. They're playing 3 7-footers, but if there's one thing that's really helping them out is that they're an above average defense so far this year, and that's mostly because not a lot of people want to drive inside on a Mobley, on a Jared Allen, and then a Lauri Markkanen. You got 3 7-footers in there. It's gonna be tough to score on, but their talent is just not there compared to other teams, but, they looked fine. They look kind of fine for sure. But, Evan Mobley has been their biggest piece so far. They looked okay. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be that great for the season for the Cavs, but hopefully Evan Mobley can continue to perform. Celtics, deja vu. They're 2-4 right now. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been great this season, but no one else is helping them. And I think this is a product of Danny Ainge kind of leaving them in a mess. They traded for all those draft picks. Instead of trading them to get good players, he just kept throwing darts at a board. They've messed up the potential dynasty here with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Hopefully they can recoup it. They're phenomenal players. But the Celtics, man, looks like they're on track for another disappointing season. The Detroit Pistons, watching for Cade. Plain and simple. If I see a Pistons game on TV, I am turning it off unless Cade's playing. I want to see how this kid is going to do. Obviously, they're going to bring him back slowly because of the injury, but besides that, I think, I'm not watching them. The Orlando Magic, slowly but surely. Now, I kind of have hope in this Orlando Magic team. Cole Anthony played fantastic against the Raptors on Friday night. Suggs has had solid games here and there. Mo Bamba's having a pretty good season so far as well. I think that this team has a future. They just have to, tank right, and then hopefully sooner rather than later the talent will come. Hopefully, Jamal Mosley can grow into his role as a coach. They just have to be patient, Magic fans. You just gotta be patient. I know it's a while because even with Vucevic and stuff, you weren't even that great. But stay patient. Stay patient. Pacers, they're not that bad. The thing is they have the worst record in the. Excuse me, they're tied for the worst record in the league, but they're not that bad of a team. They've had some very unlucky results. Injuries, of course, to Brogdon. They're finally getting Karis LeVert back. They've been very unlucky, but they also haven't been playing to their capabilities. And they'll definitely rebound. They'll rebound back for sure, but trust me, they're not as bad as their record shows. They're probably going to be in the play-in mix soon. Now let's move on to the West. We're going to speed up the West part for sure. Starting off with the Golden State Warriors. Other than Curry, that's the one thing that described them. Because the story of the season is Steph Curry isn't playing great, but they're getting good production from the other guys. So that's going to be key for them this season, especially as they try to get players back. They're going to be fine, but they just need to continue to get these production out of these other guys. Jazz, to be expected. We know they're a great regular season team. I don't have to go any further. This team is just a very good team. Denver Nuggets, winning by defense? Yes, the Denver Nuggets have. This is like very surprising for this team, but only one game they allowed a team over 100 points, which is crazy for a Denver Nuggets team. They're second in the league in defense, and they have one of the worst offenses in the league. Obviously, their offense is going to rebound because they have the Joker. And I don't know if their defense can stay that high, but they've looked good so far this season for sure. Dallas Mavericks, grinding it out. They have not been a fun watch this year besides Luka Doncic. And honestly, a lot of these wins are just grinding it out. These very like small victories. They've only had one game where they won like in double figures. They're winning close games. I mean, Luka's carrying them at the end, but their offense does not look like the offense from previous years for sure. Hopefully they can straighten that out. The Sacramento Kings won't buy in. I'm not buying into this team. Harrison Barnes has looked like an All-NBA player this first 2 weeks. De'Aaron Fox is slowly bouncing back. Just don't believe in the Kings. Whatever hope you have in them, just don't believe it. Just don't believe it, please. This happens every year. Do not believe in the Kings. Portland Trailblazers, turning the corner. I think they're definitely turning the corner. Them for sure. Damian Lillard has had a slow start to the season. Hopefully, he'll turn around soon. And what's good? The good thing about the Trailblazers is that they have kind of a defensive grit to them now. They're top 10 in defense. Their offense will start to come around soon as long as Damian Lillard gets back to his play. They'll be fine. But, they're turning the corner right now. Timberwolves, trouble closing games. They've played good, and they've been in a lot of these games, but it's just them trying to close it out. Oh, man, especially that Nuggets game where they had like 2 or 3 opportunities at the end to tie it. They weren't able to get it done. But this is a young team. Hopefully they can get used to each other on the offensive end. Again, not a bad defense again for the Timberwolves. They haven't been playing absolutely horrible. They're number 6 in the league right now. I don't think that's going to last, but it should be a very good offensive team going forward for sure. Los Angeles Lakers, have my doubts. I still have my doubts on them. The fit is but they're getting wins. As long as they get out, they're getting wins. Everything is Gucci. Carmelo Anthony has been a star for them off the bench, multiple 20-point games. I just have my doubts. I have my doubts for sure. The Memphis Grizzlies, Ja for MIP. Enough said. The team's going to be good. Ja's going to be great. Phoenix Suns will bounce back. They're too good of a team not to bounce back. Devin Booker, 22 points a game so far this year, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. He's going to get that shooting percentage back up soon. Chris Paul, it's been playing decent so far this year. Hopefully he can get his production up. DeAndre Ayton, if he wants to get that max contract, he's going to up his production as well. They're going to come back. I'm not too worried about this team. They still showed signs of like that great team from last year. They just need to get into their groove. I'm not too worried about them just yet. If they're in the same position in a couple weeks, maybe I will be, but not right now. Spurs, no days off. The thing about the Spurs is that they're 2-4 right now, but they got some key. They got a very good win against the Bucks in their last game. They beat the Magic in their first game of the season. I think that this team is just going to keep things close. I think all of their games they've lost by 10 points or less. So it's not going to be an easy day against the Spurs, but they're going to definitely lose a lot of games just because they just don't have the talent. But at least they're fighting hard. They're fighting hard for sure. Doing tagging the right way, just keeping it close, but still ending up losing the game. Clippers, gotta help PG. He just needs some help from PG, and this is kind of my concern before the season and why I had him as outside the top 8. Besides Paul George, a lot of their team has just a lot of question marks. Reggie Jackson's solid, but is he gonna produce for an entire season? I'm not sure. Bledsoe, you can't really rely on him. Their big man is just very questionable. I mean, Paul George is gonna put up MVP numbers as he's doing right now, basically 28 and 8. But the other guys, I'm not too sure they're gonna be able to, help him out enough. Just not sure about that. Rockets, patience is key, man. Jalen Green, rough start to the season. Besides that 30-point game, he's had an extremely rough start to the season. They should be okay, but we expected them to be a bad team this year. They will be a bad team this year. Oklahoma City Thunder, future is bright. Loving the backcourt of Josh Giddey and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think they're going to be a great backcourt for the future. But again, just continue to tank right. you have a ton of draft picks. Hopefully you make trades starting next year. But this team, they've got a great foundation for a great future. And last but not least, the New Orleans Pelicans. They just desperately need Zion back, man. This team is like 1-6 right now. Jonas Valanciunas, it's great to see him getting good production. He's been playing like honestly like their best player so far this year. Him and Brandon Ingram both putting up massive numbers. But they need Zion back, man. Reports are today saying that he should be back in the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's still a long period of time. I don't know if they're going to get enough wins, man. I think they're going to dig themselves in a hole very early in the season. I don't know if even Zion Williamson can like help bring them back. So, yeah, they desperately need Zion. So, yeah, we went through every team. Let me know down below what you guys think. Was I too harsh on some teams? Was I too nice? Let me know down below. This is where we're going to end today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to show love on all the podcast channels. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell on your YouTube. And remember to follow TV on Basketball on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for just awesome content and updates on the podcast. Going to be back next Tuesday to talk some more NBA hoops. Great games on throughout the week. Don't forget to like continue just to show your support on the podcast. I really do appreciate all you guys. We're not going to be doing the NBA picks for this for the foreseeable future for the time being because Jalen is out sick right now. So hopefully he gets better soon. So hopefully we can get back to that soon. And yeah, just be looking out on especially TikTok for some awesome NBA content coming out soon. Last but not least, thank you guys for all the support. Hope you have a fantastic day. Take it easy, guys. TV signing out. Peace.